Hi everyone, I'm Anne-Marie from brambleberry.com, and today I'm coming at you with something you've been requesting for a long time. Do-it-yourself cleaning supplies. Have you ever kind of looked at a cleaning supply ingredient label and went, I don't understand anything that's on here. It makes me uncomfortable. I can't pronounce it. Should I be using it? Well, you don't have to. You don't have to sacrifice performance for knowing exactly what's in your ingredients and all of your cleaning products. Today I'm coming at you with 5 home cleaning, do-it-yourself recipes that you'll be able to make in your own home. In addition to being able to make these fresh in your own home, you know exactly what's in them. You can use whatever essential oil or fragrance oil blend you want to use, or you can even make them scent-free if you have someone that has chemical fragrance sensitivities in your home. We're going to be going over to how to make hand soap and dish soap, a toilet balm to clean and refresh your toilet, a solid dish soap bar, and finally, like our own kind of natural degreaser, Goo Gone cleanser type duplicate. We're calling this our residue remover paste. For this video, we're highlighting the Brambleberry liquid soap base, the new fragrance called Citrus Garden, and 2 new essential oil blends. This one is a Eucalyptus Mint blend, and then this one, designed specifically for grease cutting ability, is the Fresh Citrus Essential Oil Blend. Let's get into our first project. In this particular project, I am going to show you how to make your own do-it-yourself dish spray with really great ingredients that are phthalate-free, paraben-free, are totally safe surfactants to use, and are actually sugar-derived and coconut oil-derived, and use an eco-safe preservative blend. This could not be more simple to make. You take Brambleberry's liquid soap, and all we need to do is dilute it with water. You need 12 ounces of liquid soap, and then we're just gonna put in 3 ounces of water. Now, I always like to use distilled water whenever I'm making my products, just to make sure there's nothing that's in your product, but it has been fully preserved so that it can withstand kind of normal wear and tear when it comes to microbes and the like. Now I'm gonna add my 3 ounces of water. Whenever you're making anything, including your DIY dish soap projects, you always want everything to be weighed out for the most accurate of formulations. And then finally, the hero of this is the Fresh Citrus Essential Oil Blend from Brambleberry that has really great grease cutting agents in it, including our tenfold orange essential oil, lavender essential oil, cedarwood, and some other really great grease fighting essential oils. For this, I'm just adding in 0.4 ounces of this fresh grease cutting ability, and you'll notice it's got that great orange color, and that is because of that redistilled orange essential oil. It is naturally orange. Then you're gonna take your spoon that is fully cleaned off and just mix, mix, mix. Everything mixes in well. This great liquid soap base is super versatile, and it takes a lot of additives very easily without breaking down. I'm really proud of the team at Brambleberry for how they formulated this, because it's an actual all-purpose liquid soap, meaning I'm gonna show you how to be able to also turn it into a hand soap as well. Once you've got this fully mixed in, it's as easy as just pouring it into the containers, making sure you're leaving just a little bit of space so that you're gonna be able to actually fit in your spray, and then it's ready to use right away. I can't wait to hear what you think about this life hack of spraying on your dish soap to get full coating when you're doing your dirty dishes, instead of just globbing that full thing of soap into the middle of your container and then scrubbing. Our next project in our do-it-yourself home cleaning series is a gentle hand soap. So this Brambleberry liquid soap is a plant-based liquid soap that is tough enough to get through grease when you use it with grease cutting essential oils, and gentle enough to use on hands because of the sulfite-free formulation. So for this particular project, we're adding liquid glycerin to it. Liquid glycerin is a natural humectant that draws moisture to the skin, and it's incredibly moisturizing as well and conditioning. So in our liquid hand soap, it helps to leave our hands clean and silky smooth. So this is 14 ounces of the Brambleberry liquid soap base, and then to that we're going to be adding a very gentle lavender essential oil, and finally we'll be adding our liquid glycerin, and then we're using the Brambleberry aluminum pump tops to make a really eco-friendly project here. So lavender essential oil at 0.4 ounces into this entire liquid soap base. And this liquid soap base does take essential oils really well. It has been designed to take up to 1.4 ounces of extra product without breaking down, which is just great. So in this case, we're maximizing that by doing the 1 ounce of liquid glycerin in here. And then once I've got all these in, I'm just going to go ahead and stir. And then now that this has been fully mixed in, it's just as simple as pouring into your containers and then putting your pump top on. Our next project is such a fun one. Have you ever heard of loo bombs or toilet bombs? They are little mixtures of basically a bath fizzy, sodium bicarbonate and citric acid that you pop into your toilet in between uses to help it stay nice and fresh. The citric acid and the sodium bicarbonate do help with a little bit of scrubbing to help keep your toilet nice in between uses, but also they just smell good. In this particular formulation, we're also adding a little bit of the brambleberry liquid soap base, so that also gives it a little bit of sudsing and cleaning ability and helps these loo bombs or these toilet bath fizzies stick together. For this project, we are using just a regular ice cube tray. I will tell you, if you're thinking about making this at home, having an ice cube tray that has that silicone bottom really does help to pop these out of the ice cube tray. It does save a lot of time, so keep that in mind when you're making this at home. And if you're like, I want to make a bigger loo bomb, a bigger like toilet cleaning bomb, when they get too big, they do kind of take over a little bit, and we really like the smaller size for the kind of toilet bath bombs. For this project, we are going to be measuring it out, and it is 11 ounces of sodium bicarbonate to 3.5 ounces of the citric acid. You'll also notice I'm wearing gloves, and if you're kind of like, well, why are you wearing gloves? Do I have to wear gloves? You absolutely don't have to if you don't want to. The reason I like to wear gloves when I'm making bath fizzies though, or in this case, loo bombs, is because think about what sodium bicarbonate does. Think about how abrasive it is. For this particular project, I've chosen the Eucalyptus Mint Essential Oil Blend. We're just going to be doing 3 milliliters, so just about 1 pipette, and you could do any essential oil blend that you wanted. I find that this one is really good because it leaves that really just herbaceous scent in the bathroom, and it's a good one for over scenting any unwanted odors. In this, I have a little bit of water and a little bit of liquid soap mixed in here. So my liquid soap and my water is what's gonna act as the binder. First of all, I'm just working out all those clumps from that essential oil right now. You'll notice when you're mixing this up, it might start the fizzing reaction a little bit early. Don't worry, you'll still have plenty of fizz for your toilet bowl cleansers. And I am just mixing while spraying evenly because I want to make sure that the fizzing reaction doesn't start too early. And if I just decide to kind of just spray in one place when I'm not mixing, the fizzing reaction will start early. So what you're going for is just a little bit of wetness, enough so that when you hold it together, it sticks kind of like a pie crust. I'm going to go with a little bit more here though. As it starts to dry and harden, it'll come out easily and cleanly from your ice cube tray molds, and you'll be able to store it really well. So now let's go ahead and check that consistency. This is a lot better. It's sticking together really well. So now all I need to do is get my work surface a little bit cleaner, and then I start putting this in. And you just put all of your bath fizzy mixture in, and then once it's in, we're gonna press it down really tightly. We're gonna wanna pack it in as tightly as possible. For this particular recipe, this makes about 1 ice cube tray worth, and yes, it's a little bit messy, or rather, I'm crafting kind of messy right now. So keep that in mind when you're planning out your work surface. Now, I'm packing this into my ice cube trays. I'm going to be packing it in, and then I'll finish it up and make it more even, just so it's more smooth on the back. But one of the secrets to this is you definitely want a really tightly packed bath fizzy, so that way they come out smoothly. If you have a really loosely packed bath fizzy, the whole thing breaks apart when you bring it out. So now that I'm done packing these in tightly, I'm just gonna let them sit for just about a day, and then they'll be ready to pop out and they'll be ready to use right away. So I did make these yesterday. You can tell because it's a different mold, just so I could show you how easy they are to pop out. So you just take them, you pop them out, and they are so hard. That water plus that little bit of brambleberry liquid soap base just makes them rock solid, hard, and awesome. And I love how cute they are because this is such a smooth, nice little size. And again, you're gonna wanna store these into some sort of like airtight container so the moisture from the air doesn't get to them, especially if they're in a humid bathroom. But they're awesome for really making sure your toilet stays nice and clean and fresh in between uses. So remember in the last project, the toilet bath fizzies, I mentioned that sodium bicarbonate was really good at scrubbing. Well, now we're gonna harness its ability along with the 10 times redistilled orange essential oil that Brambleberry has. It's like the superhero of all essential oils for grease cutting because it's been redistilled 10 times. So very, very simple to make this residue removing paste, or honestly in our house, we're using it in place of Goo Gone. And it uses sodium bicarbonate, coconut oil, and the superhero 10x orange essential oil. We're just gonna put them into these nice containers. And if you're a little skeptical, this is just us like peeling off the Brambleberry labels. This is when it's just using water. This is when it's using our oil removing residue cleaner, whatever you want to call it. It works so well. This bottle is sparkling clean. It was really easy to use to get this label off this glass bottle. All right, we are ready to get started. I have got my melted coconut oil. We're gonna use 14 ounces, and I'm gonna put on gloves because if I get it on my hands or my nail polish, that sodium bicarbonate is really gonna take off my nail polish. I'm gonna make sure I'm ready to pour when this is all mixed in. One thing you'll notice is that once it's mixed together, that the sodium bicarbonate does wanna fall to the bottom of your containers. And so I like to have a little space cleared in the freezer just to get this all frozen quickly to get that sodium bicarbonate a little bit more of a chance to suspend. First things first, we're also going to use a sieve to get out any clumps with that baking soda. I'm just going to do this through my sieve until I get the right amount and get any of those clumps out. Next, half an ounce of the 10 times 10 redistilled orange essential oil. So half an ounce in here. Whew, look at that bright, gorgeous color. This is a really lightweight oil, and so it ends up being quite a lot of volume. So this is definitely one that you want to weigh out or else you will eyeball it incorrectly. And then finally, it's 14 ounces of the coconut oil, which is solid at room temperature, but liquid once you heat it up. I've got a fork and a whisk here, so that way when I am adding, I can just keep stirring. It's gonna be most of this bag, right? Because this is a 16-ounce bag. Ooh. And you can see already that that baking soda does want to go to the bottom. It's okay. That's why we've got that freezer space. We're just going to toss this in the freezer as soon as we get all of this homogenized by stirring it, and then get it into the freezer quickly to help that baking soda stay suspended. And if it doesn't stay suspended, it's not that big of a deal. You'll be able to just mix it up a little bit with your hands when you're ready. Speaking of which, let's talk about how to use this product once you are starting to use it in your day-to-day life. We have found that it works best to coat whatever you're trying to degrease or degum, and then let it sit there for 1 to 5 minutes to let that orange essential oil really do the job of dissolving all of that gumminess, and then you'll be able to really easily wipe off that goo residue and any residue you have on any of those bottles. So now I've got this very beautifully homogenized and my freezer is ready to go. All of my containers are ready to pour into, so I'm just going to pour in with my free-handing pour here and move on. Give it a quick stir in between, just making sure that we have our baking soda fully going into all the containers evenly, and then put it in the freezer. And once this is all hardened up, it's ready to use. And since it melts at a 76-degree melt point, this is really easy to use. You'll scoop a little bit out with your fingers. It will literally melt to the touch. And then you will be able to have almost a liquid product that you use to get any sort of labels off or any sort of kind of greasy product that you have that you want to degrease and degum. Now we're moving on to our 5th project in this cleaning series. So this is our solid dish soap. And you're like, what's a solid dish soap? A solid dish soap is a cold processed bar of soap that has a high cleansing ability, meaning it uses a lot of coconut oil, so that way it's really good at grease cutting. When you're using a solid dish soap, you just keep your solid dish soap by the sink, you use a little tiny scrub brush, you get this wet, and then you just lather up, and then use this to wash your pots and pans, or if you're you're like me and you do a lot of kind of hand washing in the sink, just use this like you would any regular dish soap. You are going to be astounded at its grease cutting ability and the fact that it rinses really cleanly away without any slime. One of the reasons it rinses cleanly away without any slime is this crazy additive. It's not really crazy, but it's crazy for soap. Citric acid. So we add this to the lye water once the lye water's mixed, and this helps to cut down on the sliminess of the soap and also helps to add to its cleansing power. Another reason that this makes for a great dish soap and not a great body soap is we're using a 1% superfat, so not a lot of extra oils in it, and mostly coconut oil with just a little bit of castor oil to help those bubbles. I personally don't love a bar of soap for my body that uses a lot of coconut oil because of its high cleansing ability, but for dish soap, yes. The final key ingredient for this is the Brambleberry Fresh Citrus Blend Essential Oil, and this is a blend of citrus essential oils that, one, smells delicious, but also adds to the grease cutting ability in this solid dish soap. So a couple call outs before we make this. So one, of course, I'm suited up for safety, non-negotiable, kids, pets in the other area. I have 45 minutes. I definitely am in a well-ventilated area. Safety first, always. And along those lines, since this recipe uses citric acid, we put that in before we put in our lye. That way, if there was any issue, we had a lot of headspace in here and we'd be able to react quickly. If you're at all concerned about using citric acid in your recipe, always mix over a sink so that you're extra safe. I also want to point out again that this is just a 1% superfat. It uses a high amount of coconut oil, so temperature is pretty important. You're going to want to make sure that you're kind of in that 110, 120 range when you're working with this because it will move a little bit more quickly. Finally, we have our citrus oil blend from Brambleberry. This will actually help the trace to slow down, so it's kind of a paradox. So, preparation, really the second most important thing. We've got everything laid out here. Let's get started. If you've never made cold process soap before, of course, watch this, but then go back and watch some of the very basic cold process soap making videos so you can get the basics of what's happening here. You'll notice right away this is turning a nice white color. That is because coconut oil soap really is a lovely kind of whiter bar of soap, and the castor oil doesn't add a lot of color at all. Gonna give this a quick stir, gonna get this really quickly emulsified, get it to a nice kind of very light trace referring to that time, in which case thin trailings will sit on the top of the soap so you know that the soap is ready to pour, that all of those oil molecules and lye water molecules have mashed up together. So going to just give this another quick stick blend, and then I'm going to measure out my essential oil. Now, when we do cold process soap making, everything is always weight, even your fragrances. And so for this particular one, I'm gonna do 0.8 ounces of the Fresh Citrus Blend essential oil. It smells so yummy. I love it. You notice it's a nice orange color, and that's because of that high quality orange essential oil that's in there. A little bit more. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna stick blend this in. And one of the things you'll notice is when you're working with citrus essential oils, and a lot of them, by the way, like if you ever just try and use plain orange essential oil in cold process soap, it does not stick. It does not stay in the soap. You always want like a 10x orange essential oil from Brambleberry if you're gonna try getting an orange in there. But one of the things you'll notice with any citrus essential oil is it really starts to slow down the trace. It gives you a lot of working time. So you might notice how like beautifully orange this is. That's because the Fresh Citrus Blend from Brambleberry does have our 10x redistilled orange essential oil in it for maximum grease power cutting ability. If you want those nice white bars that you're gonna see me unmold on camera later, you're gonna wanna use things like lavender essential oil and lemon essential oil, which are also known for their grease cutting ability, but don't quite have this orange hue. However, I will say I love the Fresh Citrus Blend for its grease cutting ability. Now I'm at a beautiful trace. I mean, like that is just gorgeous, and it is time to pour. This is so pretty. I love this color so much. Orange is one of those essential oils that is very fleeting if you're just using it plain, but when you redistill it, it literally means it has been heated and distilled 10 times to concentrate that orange really strongly. And so that is where you get it to actually last in the soap and also, well, turn into this beautiful lemon yellow color. So now I'm just gonna put these on a heat blanket just so they get a little bit warmer, make sure that full chemical reaction happens, spray them with 99% rubbing alcohol, and then they'll be ready to pop out within, well, quite frankly, a day or two. So this solid dish soap was just made like 2 days ago. No sodium lactate, only a 1% super fat, and these are already coming out right now of the individual molds. That's because the recipe uses such a large amount of coconut oil, so high cleansing ability, really hard coming right out. Now, when you want to use these, you want them right by your kitchen sink in a little tiny ramekin or something that really drains that water, because this is a cold process handmade soap, so you're going to want to always have it dry in between uses. It's got such a luxuriously large lather with very little sliminess, very little residue, which makes it perfect for washing dishes. Thank you so much for watching our video today. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And really what I most want to know is what you want me to make next. Tell us in the comments below. And also, if you make any of these, please hashtag it BrambleOn on social media so we can see what you're creating. And until next time, everyone, happy soaping.